All these years that I've grown up here at the Sisterhood, I used to pretend you were my mother.
Well, I'll tell you a secret, so did I. Why do you think I gave you my most precious keepsake?
Howdy all, I am Adam the Renaissance Nerd, and welcome back to my review of Dune Prophecy. We're on episode 2, but before we get started, I want to say a little something. A few of you out there took umbrage, didn't like the way I reviewed episode 1. It's a sisterhood. Don't you understand that? You shouldn't be talking about Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. Their stuff is fan fiction. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of you yammered at me from both sides, whether you were a traditionalist, Frank Herbert loyalist, or wacko out of your gourd stands. You don't like it? I got 2 words for you. Yeah, you can fill it in. But I also want to say this also. I'll take my glasses off so you can look me right in my baby blues. I don't care what you think, and I'm going to keep reviewing this show, whether you like it or not. Okay? Fine. All right, back on topic. So, episode 2 picks up immediately where episode 1 left off, and they're able to do that because this is the one series where fast travel is actually a thing. And they do mention the Spacing Guild once. I'll give them that. Once they mentioned the Spacing Guild this episode. But I am now at a crossroads how to deal with this show, because last episode, where they had the drastic lore breaks that I covered intensely, we don't have that anymore. We are in true, pure fanfiction land. But Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson fanfiction. You shut up. No, it's the son carrying on the legacy of his father. It's the heir. It's a succession. It's legitimate. You can live with that, or you can suck it. Anyway. All right, so we are in pure fanfiction land now, where HBO and their people who are doing this, they don't know what they're doing. They're idiots. They're abusing the lore. They're abusing all these characters. But how do I deal with this? Is it worth my time to long form this for you and break down every scene? No, it's not. It's wasted your time. It's wasted my time. Because in the end, as I see with this episode, and I think this is where it's going with the entire series for the remaining few episodes, what they are, this show is boring and bloated. You have this trait that is happening in modern day, current day TV writing. A lot of long pauses, a lot of extra words, a lot of dragging out scenes with scenery and this and that, a lot of overly dramatic music with a ship landing for many, many, many minutes, this and that, people walking down corridors, people staring at each other, a lot of that shit. This thing could have been shaved down 20, maybe even 30 minutes and still gotten its points across if they didn't waste their time. Also trying to be, and that's the funniest part, this show is trying to be Game of Thrones when Game of Thrones is the illegitimate child of Dune. Because Dune did politics and backstabbing before Game of Thrones did it. Okay? So this is a show that gave birth to Game of Thrones, trying to be Game of Thrones. That's how retarded this is. You'll understand when we get there. So we're going to streamline this. We're going to bulldoze through it. I'm going to go through it in a few minutes because that's all we need. Nothing really happens. People talk at each other. A couple of events do happen, I guess, but they are retarded, especially with how they're executed when you have the entire framework that was set up around it. Let's get into it. So we begin with some Sook doctor, or used to be a sister, telling Tula that the Asian sister who got burned by Travis Fimmel on another planet while he burned the kid, that she died from the inside out, and they don't know how they did it. Yippity dippity. Meanwhile, Valia is now very upset because she now doesn't have her sister in place to control Slutty Princess, who's going to be their key to putting an empress on the throne, which is a fake storyline that never existed in actual Dune lore. So she's upset. She needs to now go to Salusa Secundus to make sure everything goes aligned. She's going to take one of the boring, fake, diverse sisters from the school with her to be the Slutty Princess's new playmate. And meanwhile, now they're going to put into play a whole plan to try and access Raquela's memories through her granddaughter, Dorothea's daughter, because they're going to make her undergo the agony. Adam, what's the agony? The agony is the process through which a sister or acolyte becomes a reverend mother by taking in a poison and converting it to basically harmless liquid or whatever. Meanwhile, fending off the genetic memory, the souls of all the women that came before you. They don't really explain that. They do a very poor job of showing and not telling. And they also, in this, by doing this whole process, I'm going to go through that whole process right now so we'll not have to come back to it later. So basically, they're going to take Dorothea's daughter, Raquela's granddaughter, as I said. They're going to make her undergo the agony, but Tula doesn't want to do it because it's her daughter. She raised her like a daughter. I have feelings for her. I'm going to make it her choice. They go through this whole boring back and forth rigmarole where the kid's going to be like, oh, should I martyr myself? Should I do it? I want to help the sisterhood, blah, blah, blah. She's going to take the poison and she's going to undergo the agony. And for a minute, Raquel is going to possess her. Uh-oh, that's Abomination, but they don't talk about Abomination. Well, maybe because hasn't come up yet, Adam. Doesn't matter. I guarantee they're gonna gloss over Abominations and all this because they've screwed themselves when it comes to Denny, his Dune crap, because they screwed up Alia. They screwed up Alia. Alia was supposed to kill the Baron, but she doesn't. Therefore, how can you do Children of Dune and have Alia become an abomination with Vladimir taking over her body if you don't set up abominations? Uh-oh, plot hole. Denny V's full of shit. Back to this, though. Anyway, so they have her go undergo the agony, and she fails. But for a moment, before Dorothea takes over and murders her, she possesses by Raquel, who warns them about Travis Fimmel, essentially. And then kid's dead. Yay. Kind of saw it coming. Very predictable. Very boring. They took the whole episode to do this. I just told it to you in a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, on Salusis Secundus in Carino Land, the Duke, whose name I don't give an F about, don't remember, he's angry that the kid is dead. He's blaming everybody, saying, how dare you blame me and his little AI toy for this? And Queen Mother, and the Queen, I know I recognize who the Empress is. She is the Queen from Witcher Season 1. She's the Queen from Witcher Season 1 who went out to battle and got herself killed. That chick. So, yeah, she's the one who's now going to tell him, hey, we're all sorry here. We're all doing this. And meanwhile, Thirst Trap Constantine's going to be making eyes at the elder daughter. And they're going to then have sex later on. Hey, there was titties. There were titties in the episode. Bravo. And they were nice titties. I like the titties. But the whole scene is so that this chick can screw Constantine and manipulate him with sex and drugs into giving her information that they've captured Travis Fimmel and have him imprisoned, because during the whole moment where the Duke is screaming, by the way, I have my ships, I can attack you, I can take Arrakis and you can't stop me, because remember, the Carinos are weak, the Imperium is weak, they have no fleet, they need the Duke's fleet, so he is threatening them. Remember that point. So while that's going on, Weak Strong, he doesn't get to be called Mark Strong, and he gets to be called Weak Strong. Weak Strong is confronting Travis Fimmel about it, and Travis Fimmel admits, I was swallowed by a worm and the worm gave me powers. And when I say this now, I believe, and I want you to take this journey with me, I believe by the end of this episode, it is now set up that it is because of Travis Fimmel's Desmond Hart character being swallowed by a worm and getting weird spice powers, that this is the impetus through which Valia and the Bene Gesserit will decide to embark on the breeding program to produce a Kwisatz Haderach. I guarantee you this. I feel it strong in my little black nerd heart. I feel that's what it's going to be. Anyway, Weak Strong is not happy that Travis Fimmel didn't, even though Travis Fimmel says, I'm doing it for you. I love the Empire. I want to help you. We got to be stronger. We don't need the stench of the Bene Gesserit. We don't need the stench of weak men like the Duke. You don't need to marry off to get his fleet. I can make you strong. But Weak Strong doesn't want that. He puts him in this little floaty prison where every time they raise him up and down, they play bad dramatic music. So he's going to be there. And Weak Trades is the one that leads him there. We'll come back to Weak Trades in a bit. So now what's going to happen is Valia is going to arrive on Salusis Secundus, bringing along one of the diverse cadre of younger sisters from the school to be the playmate of Slutty Princess. And what's going to happen is, while Valya's playing Truthsayer, she's going to try and befriend Slutty Princess. They don't get much interaction because Slutty Princess is later on going to have a moment with weak tradies where they say we can't be together, where she's going to confess that, oh my God, the kid, how could somebody be burned alive when she threatened to kill him herself? Remember? She threatened to kill him herself. How could she be broken up about the kid dying when she threatened to kill him herself? Bad writing. Bad writing. She's going to be upset about that, freaking out over the death of Asian sister and stuff like that. That's all we get for Slutty Princess. We're also going to find out that Weak Trades is actually working with a rebellion cell to try and basically have a coup within the Landsrad and replace the current Landsrad with a new Landsrad. And we're going to discover that the blue-eyed chick who isn't a Fremen at the bar, the bartender, is in fact a sister. She's a sister working undercover, and Valya's going, everybody's dancing to my tune, because I command the rebellion through you, I command the empire through the sister scattered around the Landsrad, aren't I grand, it's my grand plan, Emperor's gonna happen, yay, that kind of bullshit. And here's the problem. The Bene Gesserit had control, but they did control to keep stability, not for power grabs. That's the whole thing about the Bene Gesserit. It's not about we want to rule. It's simply about we want to maintain our status quo so we can breed a Kwisatz Haderach, who then we will control. That's how the actual line works. Not this whole thing we're pulling everybody's strings for power because I'm Valya Harkonnen and I have a twig up my ass about everything. Anyway, while Weak Strong and Queen from The Witcher are having a moment, she's going to manipulate him. So there's a lot of manipulation of all the men going on here. Only one man doesn't get manipulated, and that would be Desmond Hart, Travis Fimmel. So you have Mark Strong being manipulated. You have Constantine being sex and drugged by the Duke's daughter into giving up information about Travis Fimmel being imprisoned. So you have weak men being manipulated by women. And then you have the wife manipulating Weak Strong. And what's going to happen is they come up with this idea. First, they're going to have Valya interrogate Desmond Hart, Travis Fimmel. And what's going to happen there is she's going to reveal he is telling the truth, or at least he thinks he is. And what the queen is going to do is saying, she's going to tell Weak Strong, why should we get rid of him when we can use him? We need to use his power to our advantage. And it all ends up in a moment where the Duke is threatening to launch an attack on Arrakis and control Arrakis. And then here comes Travis Fimmel. And Weak Strong and Queen from The Witcher tell Travis Fimmel to do his thing, and he starts to burn the Duke until he submits. Now think about this. So he doesn't kill him, and the Duke gets to go. He still has his fleet. He can leave. And he can attack if he wants to. But Travis Fimmel, he attacked Asian sister across the universe. Sure, but not before he orders the fleet to attack. I mean, I'm sorry. To me, that just doesn't make sense. He still has the fleet. He still has a fleet to attack with. And he can go to Arrakis. He can go anywhere. I think Travis Fimmel has to consciously know where somebody is to attack them. I don't know. They're breaking the rules of all this shit. Like I said, I think they're making a proto-Kwisatz Haderach. Either way, then the Duke's going to leave and he's going to be cowed. And we end with this whole thing about how Valya confronts Travis Fimmel and says, I don't like what you're doing here. You can't take control away from me. And Travis Fimmel says, no, I'm going to take control away from you because the Bene Gesserits, they don't even say Bene Gesserits, but I'm going to say Bene Gesserit. The Bene Gesserits are a cancer in the Imperium. And she tries to use the voice on him to get him to gank himself, but that doesn't happen. And, that would be great if we'd actually seen her try to do that to Vorian Atreides a long time ago, but they didn't actually show us that. Because the voice can be resisted by a strong will. And clearly, Travis Fimmel has a strong will. Either way, the whole... I think I forgot a part. Remember when I mentioned the whole blue-eyed, not Fremen chick as a sister? Valya wants to scrap the rebellion plan to try and gain more control over weak strong. That's what she wants to do with that. And she has no problem killing an Atreides, of course, because she's a Harkonnen and she hates the Atreides. Anyway, so problem is here now, Travis Fimmel basically fends off Valya's attack and says to her, and actually, I'll give this is a good line. I now know your weakness. Your weakness is not that you can't control, that you want to control things. It's the fact that nobody will hear your words. Something like that. And it's actually a good line. And then Valya's going to retreat. And now I'm going to say that Travis Fimmel, Desmond Hart's character, he's going to birth the Sardaukar. That's what it looks like to me. There was a scene in the trailer, one of the early trailers, where he had men behind him. I think he is the one that's going to create the Sardaukar for the Corrinos. And that's kind of the episode. You see, look at that. We are, let's see, not even 15 minutes in. And I got it all done. That's it. I just gave you the bare bones everything of what went down. And as I said, they took an hour to do all this. And it was boring with terrible dialogue and terrible everything. Acting is just abysmal in this show. I mean, Travis Fimmel is just being Travis Fimmel still. He's doing the same shtick he does in every show he's in. And Mark Strong, as I said, is wasted. He's weak strong in this. And everybody calls him weak. Everybody calls the men in this weak. Travis Fimmel's Desmond Hart's the only strong one. And even so, the whole thing is this. The whole push back and forth between Valya and the Bene Gesserit and Travis Fimmel and what's likely to be the Sardaukar and as a proto-Kwisatz Haderach, they're trying to make you feel sympathy for the Bene Gesserit, but these women haven't done anything to get sympathy for. These are horrible people. Desmond Hart is a horrible person. The Corrinos are horrible. Slutty Princess is horrible. Weak Trades is nothing. He's nothing. Yes, he's working to overthrow the Landsraad, but that kind of flies in the face. As a direct descendant of Vorian Atreides, even as a swordmaster, he should already be the leader of House Atreides. But he's just a swordmaster trying to push around. None of this makes sense. Not to mention, as I said, it's boring and bloated. A lot of staring, talking, long drawn out, long scenes, talking, blah, blah, blah. Even I'm getting confused trying to criticize it. There's nothing to this show. It's empty, it's boring, but we got at least another 4 weeks of it. So I guess we're in for the ride, and that's it. We're done. I didn't want to waste time in this. I don't want to waste your time on this. Let's go do better things. Play video games, read a book. Enjoy your family. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And I'll see you next time. Until then, take it easy. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.